I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website of renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to that website, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're good and educated on the show, you can click on that merchandise tab, and that's where you can find our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all the other special event t-shirts, and then all the gimmicks you've come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck, like socks, wall art, throw pillows, everything you need to outfit your home, well, you can find in our online store. Over 50 plus gimmicks in the store now. Better said, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Stick taps, love, and respect to everyone who's picked up some merchandise out there. We sure do appreciate it. You can help us out on social media, and it is of critical importance to this independent operation. You can find us on social media at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find us on YouTube, of course, where you can find Renegades of Puck TV. You can find our Twitch stream, which is, of course, a behind the scenes live channel, and that lets you see everything that goes on here in the bunker, from setup to breakdown. Any mistakes that are made, any second takes, you're going to find them all right there on our Twitch stream. And of course, you can find us on a myriad of podcast platforms: Stitcher, Google, Amazon, Spotify, and several others. Please just search Renegades of Puck and you will find us everywhere. You can become a partner or sponsor of the show by going to Venmo and just searching Renegades of Puck or scanning the QR code that's currently on your screen. Stick taps, love, and respect to generous renegades just like you out there who have helped us upgrade everything here at the bunker. Microphone, camera, lighting, everything in the studio has been improved over the last few months, and we are ambitious here, so we're looking to make some more upgrades that can make the show even better. So again, stick taps, love, and respect, and thank you, all of you generous renegades out there. It sure does mean a lot to me here in the bunker. Now, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me get to it. It's time for operation number 703 for the Renegades of Puck. That is right, operation number 703. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 6th place in the Central Division. 42 games played. We are now past the halfway point in the season. They have a record of 19-17-6. 44 points has them 1 point behind 5th place and 4th place, St. Louis and Colorado. 8 points behind the Minnesota Wild in 3rd place, which would be an automatic qualifying playoff spot, and 13 points behind 2nd and 1st place. So the Central Division has an awful lot of parity right now going on between some of these teams. So the division reads Winnipeg in 1st place at 57 points, with Dallas also at 57 points, but in 2nd because of the games played differential. The Minnesota Wild are in 3rd place with 52 points. Colorado Avalanche have 45. The St. Louis Blues also at 45. The Preds at 44. Arizona in 7th place with 31 points. The Chicago Blackhawks bring up the basement with 26 points, 18 points back of the Nashville Predators. The Nashville Predators have a home record of 9-7-3, which is where their next game will take place. They've scored 118 goals in the season. They've given up 126. That means their goal differential is -8. For the Nashville Predators, once they wrap up this game against the Calgary Flames, they will have another game Tuesday night. So Monday, Tuesday, back-to-backs yet again for the Preds. Columbus Blue Jackets will be the next opponent. Then after that, Thursday, a one-game road trip off to St. Louis, a critically important game in the Central Division considering the standings at this time. Saturday, back home against LA, the 24th versus Winnipeg, the 26th at Bridgestone Arena versus the New Jersey Devils to close out their regular season series. And that takes us to the All-Star break. So the Nashville Predators, 6 games to go until the All-Star break. Now, between the Preds and the Flames, they've already played once this season. It was back on November 3rd, the Nashville Predators' long Northwestern road trip, the CMA road trip, as we've come to know it. The Preds defeated the Calgary Flames 4-1. Philip Forsberg had a goal and assist. Duchesne had a goal and assist. Lankin at 29 out of 30 in a big-time performance. Markstrom took the loss for the Calgary Flames, going 28 out of 31. These two teams will play one more time in the regular season. That will take place on April the 10th when the Nashville Predators will be in Calgary for the 2nd time this season. For the Calgary Flames, overall, 21-14-9 is their record on the season. 51 points has them 4th in the Pacific. On the road, a record of 9-7-7, and they do have a +6 goal differential. Taking a look at the most recent set of games for the Calgary Flames, let's go back a look at a sample size of 5. On the 6th of January is a 4-1 victory versus the New York Islanders. On the 8th of January, 4-3 overtime loss at Chicago. And then a back-to-back with St. Louis on the 10th, a 4-3 overtime loss at St. Louis. And then on the 12th, a 4-1 victory in St. Louis. Most recently, a 6-5 victory at Dallas. Vladar got the start in the victory, going 29 out of 33 in that game. When it comes to the NHL rankings and the matchups between these two teams, let's see how they go ahead and stack up. In the goals for category, the Calgary Flames are far ahead of the Nashville Predators. 3.14 per game is 18th best in the NHL, while the Nashville Predators are sitting at 2.76, which is 27th overall in the NHL. In goals against, Calgary one spot ahead of the Nashville Predators, giving up 2.95 per game. That's 14th best in the NHL. The Predators are giving up 2.98 per game. That is 15th in the NHL. In the shots on net category, shots for in the game, third overall in the league for the Calgary Flames, 34.9 per game, while the Nashville Predators are generating 31.3 shots on net per game. That's 19th best in the NHL. In the shots against category, the Calgary Flames are also third in the NHL, only giving up 27.8 against per game, while the Preds are giving up 34.2. That is a very high number, 29th in the NHL. Their league ranking certainly reflects how high that number is. In the special teams situations, the Calgary Flames are the 25th best rated power play in the NHL, converting at 20% or 28 out of 140 times, while the Nashville Predators have a 17% conversion rate. They are 28th overall in the NHL. The raw data is 24 out of 141 opportunities on the season. The penalty kill, the Calgary Flames lead in this statistical metric as well. 82.1% kill rate is 7th best in the NHL. They've given up 28 power play goals against. The Preds are 15th in penalty kill, 79.1% kill rate. They've given up 31 power play goals against on the season. For the Nashville Predators, a couple of quick injury updates. Borowiecki, of course, still on injured reserve. No time frame for his return, but Carrier now listed as day-to-day. Team reporting nothing significant, but we'll just list it as day-to-day for now. Every team in the NHL has high-powered individuals, so we always like to take a look at the top scorers from each team. Let's take a look at the visiting Calgary Flames first. Lindholm leads the team in scoring, 14 goals and 26 assists for 40 points. The 26 assists is best overall on Calgary. Tyler Toffoli at 15 goals and 22 assists for 37 points on the season. And then Kadri, 17 goals and 18 assists for 35 points. Those 17 goals are the team lead. Huberdeau at 8 and 23 for 31. Anderson, 6 and 23 for 29. In net, Markstrom, 13, 10 and 5 on the season, an 8.93 save percentage, a 2.84 goals against average, and he started and took the loss against the Nashville Predators back on November the 3rd. For the Nashville Predators over on their side of the ledger, Philip Forsberg continues leading the team in total goals with 18 and total points, 38. That means he has 20 assists sandwiched in the middle of that. The captain Roman Josi is at 11 goals and 23 assists for 34 points. Those 23 assists are leading the Nashville Predators. Matt Duchene, 11 goals and 21 assists for 32 points. Mikhail Granlund, 4 goals and 21 points, 21 assists for 25 points. And Nino Niederreiter, 13 goals and 10 assists for 23 points. In net, UC Saros is 15, 12, and 5, a 9.19 save percentage, a 2.73 goals against average. Nashville Predators are going to have a very difficult game against the Calgary Flames, as they often do, so they're going to have to bring a much better overall performance than they did in this most recent game against the Buffalo Sabres. Let's go back and take a look at what happened in that game against Buffalo at Bridgestone Arena. It's called the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap, and it's coming up right now.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
We go all the way back to January the 14th of the year 2023, when the Nashville Predators were back home at Bridgestone Arena for the first time in a while to face off against the Buffalo Sabres. John Hines deploys his lines in the following way. Forsberg, Parssinen, and Duchene make up your new first line. Niederreiter, Johansson, and Granlund, Smith, Glass, and Sissons, Trennan, Novak, and Janot your fourth line. McDonough and Josi, Ekholm, and Fabro, Luzon, and McEwen. And we mentioned Carrier is day-to-day. We found that out before this game started. UC Saros gets to start in net, and we're just 13 seconds into the game. It's good to see the Nashville Predators back at Bridgestone Arena. Good to see the home crowd back out there checkerboarding. Was that supposed to be a thing? it didn't work out very well. 13 seconds into the game, UC Saros comes up with a save on Thompson. First shot on goal of the game. 45 seconds in, Saros comes up with another save on noted Pred killer Skinner. 3:48 into the first period, Saros a save on Tuck. Buffalo controlling the early part of this first period. 6:07 into the first period, we see Luukkonen making his first appearance. He comes up with a save on Duchesne for Buffalo. 8:02 of the first period, Saros comes up with a save on Olofsson. 8:10 of the first period, McEwen's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping, gets called back up, and before 8.5 minutes can expire, he's already in the box. Saros has to come up with a save on Cozens, and then overall, it was a decent PK by the Nashville Predators, but shortly after, at 11:37, there's Skinner already. His 18th of the season gives Buffalo a 1-0 lead. It was a breakaway featuring numerous moves. He had so much time, it looked like he was on a shootout opportunity or a penalty shot. Skinner converts, outweighting UC Saros and finally tucking the puck in. What a matchup that was. 14:42 of the first period, Lyubushkin's off the box, 2 minutes for elbowing the captain. Roman Josi converting on the power play with his 11th goal of the season, tying the game up at 1 apiece. It was a long shot, partially stopped, but then had enough to trickle over the goal line, tying the game up for the Nashville Predators. 15:51 of the first period, Smith is off the box, 2 minutes for goalie interference. That's Cole Smith. He tried to cut well ahead of the blue paint, but ended up making connection with the goalie. It is ruled to be goaltender interference. Outstanding PK thanks to Buffalo and their number of unforced errors, like back passing between the point and putting the puck outside the zone on their own. So good job by the PK, but Buffalo certainly helped them out there. We at the end of the first period, it's a tie game at 1 apiece, but the shots on goal are Buffalo 14 and the Nashville Predators 6. 23 seconds into the second period, UC Saros has to come up with a save on Olofsson. 1:23 into the first period, Luukkonen comes up with a save on Johansson, but 2:05, there's Cozens again, 14th goal of the season, giving Buffalo a 2-1 lead. Fabro got caught pinching, led to a 2-on-1, and that speed transition and counterattack for Buffalo for a second time in this game has been successful. 7:21 of the second period, Luukkonen comes up with a save on Novak plus Janot's jam. Ruled a no goal, checked by the officials to see if it was a goal. It was, in fact, upheld to be a non-goal, saying that Janot had pushed the puck and the goaltender's pad and everything into the net. 8:19 in the second period, Forsberg's off the box, 2 minutes for slashing a completely needless penalty in the neutral zone by Philip Forsberg. Olofsson converts for Buffalo, giving them a 3-1 lead. His 17th goal of the season. It was a one-time bomb from the right circle. Just, you could tell by the sound that it made when it came off the stick and went into the net just how heavy of a shot this was. 3-1 now in favor of Buffalo. 10:20 into the second period, Saros comes up with a save on power. 12:41, Luukkonen comes up with a save on Granlund's deflection at close range. At 15:10, Luzon starts to make things interesting. His third goal of the season makes it 3-2 now in favor of Buffalo. It was a heavy shot from the top of the circle. Luzon has been a pleasant surprise offensively at times this season now. 3-2 in favor of Buffalo. And before I could finish scribbling down that note, or Paul McCann could make the announcement, 15:50 into the second period. So just 40 seconds later, Johansson's 10th goal of the season ties the game up 3 apiece. It was a deflection in the slot area. Good job by Ryan Johansson. We're here. Great hand-eye coordination. And the Nashville Predators have suddenly and very quickly tied the game up at 3 apiece. 16:45 of the second period. Lyubushkin's off the box, 2 minutes for interference. All of the momentum in favor of the Nashville Predators at this point. Luukkonen comes up with a save on Forsberg. 2 shots on goal for the Preds. Unfortunately, just too much standing still in the zone during the power play, and that made it an easy kill for the Buffalo Sabres. 19:47 of the second period. Yossi's off the box, 2 minutes for tripping. We hit the end of the second period. Tie game, 3-3. Buffalo out shooting Nashville 23-22. So the Nashville Predators pick up 16 shots on goal in the second period. Carryover of 147. Saros has to be strong on the penalty kill, coming with a big save on Rasmus Dahlin. And at 4:01 of the third period, Saros comes up with a save on Thompson's backhand in the low slot at close range. A high danger scoring chance right there. 5:57. Jost is off the box, 2 minutes for slashing. And again, the momentum seems to be going in the Nashville Predators direction, but it's Okposo scoring for Buffalo shorthanded, and it was a tip-in, his 7th goal of the season. And for the Buffalo Sabres, they were able to get into the Nashville Predators zone, gain control, and go to work. And this goal ends up being remarkably easy by Okposo. who has had good success in the past against this Nashville Predators team. 4-3 now in favor of the Buffalo Sabres. Saros then, while the Predators continue on the power play, has to come up with another save on a 2-on-1 on Thompson on the shorthanded rush. 9:51 of the third period. Luukkonen comes up with a save on Granlund. We flipped it back to the sheet and we find it's 16:49 that Quinn scores his 7th goal of the season. It was a kind of a soft goal on Saros right there, trickling through the 5-hole. Buffalo now leads 5-3. So many odd man rushes here towards the end of the third period. Buffalo was already very perceptive on the counter attack and using their speed, but now that the Nashville Predators are taking more and more risks trying to get back in this game, it has just opened the game wide open for Buffalo. Luukkonen would come up with numerous saves and scrambles during the 6-on-5 scenario, but the Preds would be unable to convert. As a matter of fact, the Preds would put so many shots towards the net that they would finish the game with 38 after only having 6 in the first period, so 32 in the next 2 periods. Buffalo would finish the game with 33 shots on goal, but that doesn't make a difference to them because they won this game 5-3 at Bridgestone Arena. And for the Nashville Predators, it was going to be a tough game already. Buffalo is fast. They're high scoring. They've got a lot of dynamic, young scoring offensive talent. And for the Nashville Predators, they had to play a much, much cleaner, crisper game than they did last night. But that being said, 3-3 in the third period, and you have a power play, and you give up a shorthanded goal that ends up being what costs you the game. So whatever the Nashville Predators had to do, they had done enough up until that point. But that shorthanded goal, absolutely a dagger and a killer, and it sent whatever component of Bill's Mafia was in town, which by the sounds of it was a lot of them at Bridgestone Arena. That sent them out onto Broadway partying for the rest of the night and having a good time. But for the Nashville Predators now, 3 losses in a row, and that record starts creeping back towards 500 again. So for the Preds, it's that continuous story of they win a couple and then they lose a couple. They look good for a week. They look bad for a week. This game right here, the Preds just, they let it get away from them. This was much like what happened in Toronto. A late penalty in Toronto ends up costing them a power play goal against. This time, somehow, inexplicably, a power play 4 ends up yielding a shorthanded goal against and ends up costing you the game on home ice. But that first period was a sleepwalk for the Preds. Only 6 shots on goal. That's Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. I have a lot more analysis, a lot more opinions, and I'm starting to drift into that area right now. So let's get to that right now.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
UC Saros was 28 out of 33 in this game, and it was not his best game. Certainly not. 5 goals against, at least 1 soft goal. The other times, a lot of odd man rushes, breakaways. He was under siege the entire night. Listen, everybody on the Nashville Predators could have played better in a defensive way, but UC Saros overall, he was not as clean, not as crisp as we have seen him be recently, especially on that most recent road trip. And it was a tough night to be a goaltender for the Nashville Predators, facing a young, dynamic, offensively gifted, fast team like the Buffalo Sabres. It was going to be a tough road for UC Saros no matter what. He put up some good saves. He had some good moments, but overall just not his game. Not going to critique it any further than that. Johansson, 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. That led the Preds in this game. 5 shots on goal. I thought Ryan Johansson did look very good out there, getting a chance as second line center between Niederreiter and Granlund in this game, which of course is a switch up. Granlund has been playing on a checking line as of late. I thought Ryan Johansson looked very very good out there. The deflection, the tip from the slot area, really great hand-eye coordination right there. Look, he's underperforming as far as the stats go. He's not even in the top 5 scorers on the team. And right now, when you're supposed to be a big body first, second line center, top 6 guy, you have to be performing at a higher level than this. He's doing great when it comes to face-off. He's doing other things really well out there. But overall, Johansson's underperforming. In this game, though, a goal and assist, that's above, obviously, his offensive output per game with 2 points. And the 5 shots on goal, I've said it so many times, Johansson is a pass-first, defer to somebody else type of center when he has a really great shot if he would just utilize that skill set more often. 5 shots on goal is, at least for one night, an appearance that he is at least trying to do so. I'd love to see him generating 4 or 5 shots on goal per night. Ryan Johansson would be a consistent 20-plus goal scorer in this league if he just shot the puck more. He has a deceptively good wrist shot, and I just, for some reason, he's some centers just become defer to your teammate, pass first, always looking for that. And world-class pass distribution is what led him to breaking the assist record a couple of years ago for this Nashville Predators team. When it comes to Captain Roman Josi, he scored a goal in this game, 8 shots on goal, 26-31 in time on ice. The shots on goal, the time on ice, both led the team. And Roman Josi's been out there looking really great. He's been feeling it, and he's doing all that he can, but, in this league, one player cannot do everything. And 800-plus games now as a Nashville Predator, it's just amazing to watch the guy each and every night out there. He's going to continue putting up these types of numbers, continue putting up these types of minutes. But overall, it was a tough night for Roman Josi. For those of you who still buy into the plus-minus statistical metric, he was a -3 in this game, which means he was out there on the ice for 3 of the 5 goals against in this game. Let's talk about Luzon. Pleasant surprise offensively. He chips in from time to time. Third pair defenseman, occasionally 3 goals now on the season. Last night, opportunistic moment, slides into the high slot, goes ahead and bombs away and gets that shot. Incredible. But really, the reason I wanted to point him out, yes, I wanted to say pleasant surprise when your third pair defenseman is able to chip in a couple of goals in the season, but the number of hits and the physical play, and he was noticeable out there in this game. 9 hits in total in the game, and he has been a physical force for the Nashville Predators on the blue line all season long. It's really, really a shame that Borowiecki is on injured reserve, because Borowiecki and Luzon together could be one of the most physically imposing defensive pairings in the entire NHL with the way they go about playing so physically. So Luzon has definitely stepped into that abyss and taken lead in that category. 9 hits in this game, and just wanted to make sure I pointed that out and mentioned him. It's not often you talk about the third pair defenseman unless they're doing something horribly wrong. This is one of those moments where I wanted to point that out. Buffalo, they knew how to beat Nashville. It's very clear that their coaching staff, their players, they were on the same page going into this game, and the way they were going to go about beating Nashville was by using their speed. And I'm going to tell you, every single time, counterattack with speed is going to defeat a heavier physical lineup, which is what the Nashville Predators have tried to deploy and tried to play as far as style the last couple of seasons under John Hines. Speed beats physical play every time, and the Nashville Predators are finding this out more and more when they take on teams like the Colorado Avalanche, who swept them in the playoffs last year, like the Edmonton Oilers, who have their way with them. These faster teams that have high offensive output are just blowing right by the Nashville Predators opportunities to check, and they are just going straight to the net. The counterattack and the number of rushes, odd man rushes, breakaways, all of that were on display in this game for the Buffalo Sabres against the Nashville Predators. It was obvious that they knew exactly how to pick their spots and counterattack with the Nashville Predators. Fabro, Josi, Ekholm, all of them got caught deep in the zone, and Buffalo knew when that happened, it's time to go. One long pass out to the neutral zone, and they were gone. It's clear the Buffalo Sabres had the blueprint on how to beat the Nashville Predators, and they executed that. Even shorthanded, the Buffalo Sabres were able to counterattack with ease the Nashville Predators because of the amount of speed that they had. The Preds cannot handle these fast, speedy teams. That's why the checking line that had been put together in recent stretches of hockey, I felt was so successful, because they were able to go out there against these best players, these faster players, and slow things down and control things. breaking up that checking line, it just opened up mayhem and all hell broke loose in the counterattack end against the Nashville Predators last night. Now, I've given you a whole lot of information, a whole lot of analysis. I want to hear from Brian Baston. Stepping up yet again, Sean C. Smith, listen, he's working on the house. He's got some issues over there. He's getting some really important stuff done. So Sean will be back with the show here in the next couple of days. But Brian Baston has stepped up and helped me out for the last couple of shows in a tremendous way. So I sure do appreciate him. Here he is right now as Analyst 1 from ontheforecheck.com. He's got the charts you need to see and more than the numbers that you need to know. He is the one and only Brian Baston.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. I'm Brian Baston here at the Renegade Analytics Desk, and the memory of Nashville's 4-game winning streak may seem pretty distant now, as Nashville dropped their third straight in their return home to Bridgestone Arena, losing 5-3 to the Buffalo Sabres. Now, if you've been watching all season, you'll know that I have sung Philip Forsberg's praises for most of this up-and-down season. But as Nashville's all-time leading goal scorer with a brand new contract, we also have to look at the responsibility that falls on Philip Forsberg, and that's the topic of tonight's One Big Stat. Now, Forsberg only managed to get 2 shots on net tonight and stayed off the score sheet, and as the team's leading goal scorer with 18 goals and the future of the franchise at forward, the team relies on him to produce. And if Forsberg has success, usually the team does as well. Forsberg's averages about 1.2 points per game in Nashville's 19 victories this season, but just 0.7 points in their 23 losses. But it isn't just goals that help the team. In fact, Forsberg barely averages more goals in his losses than he does in victories, so setting up his teammates and scoring himself are vital to Nashville's success. Now, there's not a whole lot to criticize about Forsberg's season. Yes, compared to other teams with their superstars, Forsberg looks to be underperforming, but relative to the team that he's playing with and the talent around him, he's doing the absolute best that he can. Unfortunately for the Nashville Predators, they're probably going to need more than his best to help them get over the hump and make their way into the playoffs. And that's tonight's One Big Stat. Charlie?
Stripe Digital Solutions is another great partner of the Renegades of Puck, and I sure do appreciate everything Stripe Digital Solutions does for us here in the trenches. Check out their work, stripedigitalsolutions.com, or online, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You see the crest that is on the jersey right here. You see the logo on the wall behind me. The website, renegadesofpuck.com. Our social media and brand building plan, all of that is managed by and through Stripe Digital Solutions. We could not succeed on any level in the current world the way it functions without a strong digital partner, and Stripe Digital Solutions is the strongest digital partner. I urge and encourage each and every one of you to reach out to Brandy and start the conversation today. I think that my website is fantastic, my logos, my graphics, I think everything is wonderful, and that is because I have visions and ideas, and then they are whittled down by Stripe Digital Solutions into something that actually is coherent and makes sense on the screen. They do incredible work, and I encourage each and every one of you, check out Stripe Digital Solutions. Box score is pretty simple right here. Ryan Johansson, the only forward with a goal in this game. Roman Josi and Luzon had goals from the defensive side of things and the assist side of things in that stat category. Only one was the high for the team. Glass picks up an assist. Johansson picks up an assist. Parsonen another assist. More consistent play from Parsonen. Sissons does get on the score sheet. Ekholm and Fabro pick up assists in this game and well. Shots on goal. The captain, Roman Josi, led the team with 8 following Johansson and Niederreiter, 5 apiece. Nobody else with more than 3. When it comes to the block shots category, and this is another indicator that the Nashville Predators were not able to catch up to the Buffalo Sabres. Defensively, they were unable to catch up and set up because Dante Fabro's 2 blocked shots leads the Nashville Predators in blocked shots. Most of the Nashville Predators had 0 for the game, and there's a bunch of 1s throughout the category here. So when speed absolutely dominates and most of the shots are coming off of the rush, there's no opportunity for the defense to set up and block those shots. That's what you see when you look at this category and you see so few block shots. When it comes to hits, the Nashville Predators were able to at least pin some players deep a couple of times. Luzon leads the team, 9 total hits. Colton Sissons was a dominant force physically with 5 hits out there. Cole Smith had 4. You could see it was a very physical game there, especially in the neutral zone and around the benches. A lot of big hits happening just off to the periphery of the play. And just to see 9 hits in this game by a player who only skated 16-20 in total time on ice, you know that Luzon was absolutely out there working as hard as he could on the physical aspect and the physical element of this game. Time on ice, it was Nino Niederreiter, 19-19 in total time on ice. When it comes to John Hines it's easy to see who he thinks is playing the best in a particular game when it comes to the forwards, because he is always going to let that player have those additional shifts. In this particular game, this is the first time I can recall Nino Niederreiter leading the team for forwards in time on ice skated. Of course, when it comes to the defensemen and the overall team time on ice, Roman Josi led 26-31 in total time on ice. Just incredible numbers, and he seemed to still have plenty of gas and plenty of wheels there at the end of the game. He truly is an otherworldly, top-level player. It is a true treat to watch and cover Roman Josi, and to go all the way back to when he was first drafted and he was just standing around. He's still injured when he first got here for his first development camp, standing around the glass at Centennial Sportsplex. I mean, I remember like it was yesterday. Now we're 800-plus games into the career, and he's easily one of the best defensemen, one of the best overall players in the NHL of this current generation. That gets you all set up with the numbers, and that gets you all set up with the stats and everything that happened in this game. We've just got one more thing to do. Let's come back and close this thing out. I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. All right, so it's time for another back-to-back. Calgary, Columbus, sure, why not? The Nashville Predators have had a slew of back-to-backs as of late, and for the most part, they had been able to perform at a pretty even level. But this last back-to-back at the end of the 5-game road trip, losing to Toronto and then losing to Montreal, of course, that kind of shatters that discussion point. So for the Nashville Predators, they got to get back to business. A very good Calgary team and then a very bad Columbus team coming in here on a Monday and a Tuesday to Bridgestone Arena. The Preds have to put up a better effort than they did against the Buffalo Sabres. They got to come away with maximum amount of points over the course of these next 2 games. Getting very close to the All-Star break. 6 total games to go to get to the All-Star break. So you've got a back-to-back coming up right here, and that will be the last back-to-back until after the All-Star break. So for the Nashville Predators, a very even schedule coming up over the final 4 games after they finish up that back-to-back with St. Louis, LA, Winnipeg, all Western Conference games. Those are going to be very critical points. And then New Jersey on home ice before heading into the All-Star break. Now, we are just past the halfway point of the season, and what can you say about the Nashville Predators at this point in time? Offensively, they have individuals that are not performing anywhere near the level that they were last year. In net, UC Saros started off the season very poorly, but has rebounded and looks to be edging towards the similar type of season and numbers that he had last year. As far as record breakers go, nobody seems to be on pace like they were last year to break any of those significant records. And for the team overall, when it comes to their play, well, they find themselves near the bottom of the Central Division after half of the season. What started out seemingly very promising in the International Global Series in the 2 games against the San Jose Sharks, after the return home, it became a nightmare very quickly for the rest of the month of October and parts of the month of November. The Preds have had some good stretches. That one time they picked up 9 out of 10 points on a homestand. They had an opportunity to pick up 8 out of 10 points on a 5-game road trip as of late. They play good for 4 or 5 games, then they play really bad for 4 or 5 games. Offensively, they're not where they need to be. Special teams, they're not where they need to be. Lineup, they haven't really solidified or settled on a consistent line combinations or sets of combinations game in and game out. So basically what you can say about the first half of the season is the Preds are really lucky to have a record that's above 500 and to find themselves only a few points behind the wild card. They have plenty of room to make improvements, and you sure hope that they're going to moving forward. My confidence in John Hines is starting to slide. His failure over the course of the first half of the season to find and solidify his line combinations, to find and solidify a style that is going to work for this team coming into the season, whatever his thoughts were, he has failed to make the adjustments at this point. Is he on the hot seat? I would think so, and honestly, at this point, I'm starting to hope so, because the Nashville Predators are going to need to make some changes. I feel the same about the general manager, David Poile, who the first half of the season, coming into the season, he signs Forsberg. He makes the Niederreiter trade. He makes the McDonough trade. It seemed like things were going in the right direction. Suddenly, Tomasino finds himself buried in the minors. Tolvanen finds himself as a success story in Seattle, and the Nashville Predators' plan to move forward with a new class and new crop seems to have fallen by the wayside. David Poile, I do not know if he has a response or an answer. The trade deadline's coming up very soon. Mistakes are easy to make when your team is floundering. Do not sacrifice Tomasino, Evangelista, Askarov, the future of this Nashville Predators team, to save your job for another 6 months. Because at some point in time, somebody else is going to have to come in and take the reins. So for the Nashville Predators, summing up the first half of the season, I guess I'd say they're really lucky to be where they are. They've had poor management. They've had poor coaching. They've had poor play. They've had poor goaltending. Somehow, they've climbed to 19, 17, and 6, and at 44 points are within reasonable conversation distance of a playoff spot. We'll continue tracking it each and every play, each and every period, each and every game, right here from the bunker on Renegades of Puck TV and on the Renegades of Puck podcast. For Brian Basson, I sure appreciate Brian jumping in the trenches and helping me out this entire weekend, and each and every one of the Renegades of Puck. Sean, hope you're doing all right. Hope things are getting a little bit better with your situation there, with your construction job, and we'll get you back in the trenches soon. I respect and love and appreciate each and every one of you out there. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for joining us. Operation 703 is now complete. Stick tabs, love, and respect.